Hi everyone, so today I'm bringing you another writing video. Yep, here we go again. Famous authors have given some pretty good advice. I've seen stuff like that on Pinterest, and I decided to put some of those tips and advice together and just tell you my favorite and I think the best writing tips, writing advice from just famous authors and just things they have said that I think really work or are inspiring or anything like that. So let's jump right into the video. So first I got some advice from Stephen King, multiple things, because he's given some pretty good advice. I've never read his books, but his writing advice is definitely good. And first one is, if you want to be a writer, you must do two things above all others: write a lot and read a lot. This is something we all know, but I still feel like it needs to be said sometimes, because if you want to be a writer, you need to dedicate as much of your time to it as possible, and you need to read a lot to just find inspiration, find what you love about books so that you can incorporate it into your books and just to grow as a writer and to get better. And you need to write, to practice and to actually write books, and just you need to do both as much as possible if you want to be a writer, which we know, but sometimes we don't do that, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is, again, Stephen King's advice: set a daily writing goal. I know that lots of people say that you should write every single day and all that, and I don't really believe that. I think that you don't have to write every single day at all. But I definitely think that it's, of course, absolutely awesome, because then even if you write only a little bit every day, it's gonna add up, and then you're actually gonna write the books that you want to write. But I think that you should definitely set a writing goal, and if you really aren't able to write every single day, set a weekly writing goal, a goal that is kind of challenging but still achievable, nothing over the top, write 100,000 words this week, that's very exaggerated, but you know what I mean. So just set a writing goal that works for you, and it's definitely going to help you to write faster and all that. And the last Stephen King's advice is, if you can do it for joy, you can do it forever. And I feel like if you want to be a writer, you need to love it more than anything. You need to be super passionate about it, and it needs to bring you joy, because if not, then you're never either you're not gonna succeed in it at all, or you are going to, but it's gonna be total torture. It's gonna be horrible, because writing takes a shit ton of time. It takes a lot of dedication. You need to really work on it hard, and it requires a lot of patience, and if you don't love it, if it doesn't bring you joy, I'm not sure it's worth it. But if it does bring you joy, then you can do it forever, and you need to keep reminding yourself of why it makes you so happy, and just keep writing because it brings you so much joy. Then I have 3 tips from Neil Gaiman, who is, I think, an amazing writer. I only read The View from the Cheap Seats by him, and I want to read more, but from what I read there, I was so excited to read through some of his writing advice. And so the first advice he gives us is laugh at your own jokes. And this is something that it's kind of random, and it's not really anything deep and practical or anything, but I think this is amazing, and it could be translated on multiple levels than only jokes and humor, but just love your writing, laugh at your own jokes, because just it's nothing if you don't laugh, then who will? And just love your writing and what you write, because it's nothing that's it's not arrogant, it's not egoistic or anything. It's just gonna make you feel awesome, and just if you love the story, if you're passionate about it, just don't be I shouldn't like this, I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes, just laugh at your own jokes, do whatever you want. It's an awesome story, so just believe that it's awesome. And yeah. The next thing is something that I think is really cool, and that is this. When people tell you something's wrong or doesn't work for them, they're almost always right. And when people tell you exactly what's wrong and how to change it, they're almost always wrong. And I thought this is really cool, and that is really true. And even though I've never really gotten any feedback, if you want to be a beta reader, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, but still, I know that this it definitely works, I think, because when someone exactly sees the problem and tells you exactly what's wrong, then it's just probably their personal opinion and what they like/don't like. But if they tell you something's wrong but they don't really know exactly what it is, then it really suggests that like there's a part of your book that's kind of confusing and doesn't make sense that you need to work on. And the last Neil Gaiman's advice is something that I totally love, something that I live by, not only when it comes to writing but my life in general, and I just need to share this with you, and that is the main rule of writing is when you do it with enough assurance and confidence, you're allowed to do whatever you like. So write the story as it needs to be written. And this is something that I seriously like live by, and it's the best thing ever that you can do. Just believe in yourself, believe in your writing, have confidence in it, and write the book that you're dying to read. Write a book in which you do everything you love, you know, in which you describe everything you love. You put all the things that you love in books when you read them, and then it's just gonna turn out so incredible. It's gonna be freaking amazing and wonderful. And even if you do this in life, like, just write whatever you want and write it however you want it to be written, and don't give a shit about any like big rules, because sure, like, follow the rules that you know will make the book better, but don't limit yourself to what's normal or like what usually appears in books, and just do whatever you want, because when it comes to writing you can do whatever you want. The options are endless, so just write whatever you want. And then I have some random advice from random writers. Some of them I don't know, but the advice was great, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put it in this video. So the next thing is, inspiration is everywhere, carry a notebook, by Victor Hugo. And this is something that you don't need to carry a notebook. I personally do, but you have your phone, you know. He lived in the last century, but we live now, and we have awesome technology called phones that we carry around everywhere, so you can just write it down on Evernote or anywhere on your phone, and just really just watch your surroundings, observe the world around you, and when you see something cool like a building or a place, write it down. When you see a cool person that you look at and you're like, wow, I like their outfit or their face, their hair, or whatever, I do this myself. I just write down what the person looked like, and I use that as inspiration for my characters, and just observe the world and make sure you write it down so that you can use it in your books. Next thing is Time Constraints Sharpen the Mind by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and this is something that is definitely true, because if you give yourself a deadline or something that's very specific related to time, then it's just gonna be like, okay, so I need to really work on that book now, and it's not just gonna be like, finish the book sometime, because that's really not specific at all, and it's gonna give you an exact date when you want to have it finished, and it's gonna push you into actually writing it. You're gonna write it faster, and you're gonna get it done, instead of, you know, working on it for years when you just don't give yourself any deadlines whatsoever. Last but not least is by Damien Farnworth, and he says, barricade the door. It must just be you, the ink, and the paper. And of course, if you write on a laptop, then, you know, it works with that as well, but we get the idea. Just, this is something that I've said before in my How to Finish Writing a Book video, link is in the description box, or just, I've said this before, but it's something that's very difficult for me, and I think for a lot of people, but at the same time, it's absolutely essential if you really want to be working efficiently and if you want to be productive, and that is just eliminate all distractions possible. Don't let turn off your phone so no one calls you, ignore Facebook or any social media that's gonna be like notifying you on every little thing, and just bail on that for at least an hour, and really only write for an hour without multitasking, without doing anything else, because then you're actually going to be working so efficiently, and you're going to write faster, you're going to write better, you're actually going to focus on it, it's going to be great. So those were all my favorite tips and advice from some great authors that either are still alive or are not, but yeah, I don't know why I'm even saying that. And I really hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more writing videos. I've been making so many of them, it's ridiculous. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And tell me in the comments down below if, you know, you're a writer, then what's your favorite advice/tip. And that will be it. Have a brilliant day, and see you soon in another video. Bye!